Hello, hello! So, have you heard of our Lord and Savior, the Biddy Guide? Well, look no further, for it is I, KaboChama. But you can just call me Daddy. Hello, hello! How is everyone today? Are you doing good? Are you doing good? Hope you are. Because today is our weekly KaboClass! Yay! Alright, so, oh. Do you want to see more? Yeah? Do you want to introduce KaboClass? No? Come here. Guys, Bubby is here. Bubby wants to say hello. I forgot to turn off my whole thing. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. Okay, hold on. Give me just a second. Okay. Yes, I know. It's so terrible to be a kid and be cute. Go on. Okay. Should we go ahead? Hold on. Coming back. I put my headphones on. After I put my blanket on. Hold on. I just came back from like a family get together thing, so I'm a little disorganized. Sorry. Okay. Alright. I'm back. Okay, we're good. So, today's KaboClass is going to be shading and highlighting. Yay! So, this is kind of a continuation of what we did for flat color. So, if you haven't seen that one, you probably should. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it's going to be like a direct continuation of what we were working on then. Cause we did some pretty good flat color. So I have some templates for everyone. I'm gonna pop the link in chat. Hold on. Let me copy this and paste it. Okay. So if you want to follow along physically, you can go to this. Wait, I haven't put it up yet. Hold on. This. This is my my drive, my Google Drive for you guys. And oh my god, did I not put it in there? Well, I'm gonna do that real fast. I'll show you where it is. It's good that I did this so that I can upload it right now and make sure everyone is on the same page. So we have these two. Open. Okay. So they should be come on, oh piece of shit. Okay. Should be coming in. Yeah, okay. So the JPEG is pretty much in. I'll show you right here. And then we also have a Photoshop document file for those who want to use the layers that I put. It's right there. It'll upload at some point. I'll let you know when it's done uploading. But yeah, so that'll be what we're using today, and this will be what we're drawing. Yay! So just to let you guys know, this will be kind of an introduction to shading and highlighting. There are many different ways to shade and highlight, and I'm going to kind of touch on every single one, but I'm going to go into more fuller detail with the style that I use, because number one, I'm more familiar with it, and number two, this drawing is, you know, kind of sort of made by me, so it's going to look the best in the style that I'm more proficient in, or more used to using. So yeah, so I'm going to kind of show you guys what different ways we can do highlighting and shading, and that's going to be, we're going to do like taking a color and then getting a shade darker than the color. And then we're also going to be using blending options and blending layers together. And that's the one that I'm going to focus on, is the blending options and blending layers, because I personally think the effect is better than just doing it traditionally. Because you get a fuller range of color and shade and shadow without having to think about color theory very much and kind of go in depth in there. The KaboClass is about halfway uploaded right now, so hopefully it should be done by the time I'm done explaining stuff. So, let me just put this in a place where I can see if it uploads or not. Okay. So, for highlighting and shadow, I'm just going to kind of show you guys what exactly I mean by that. Let me get my pen out. Okay. So, I don't want this. I'm going to be using just a regular pen. Maybe that big. So, I feel like this mic is very loud. What about that? That's better, right? Yeah. Okay. So, when I say highlighting and shadow, I mean like figuring out where your light source is coming from and then using that to denote where the shadows are on your figure. So, shading and highlighting don't necessarily, like, it kind of sort of makes your drawing pop, but what it really does is it gives it like a 3D effect, like it puts 2D into a more 3D space. Like you're tricking your brain into thinking that this 2D image is actually in a 3D space. So that's what shading and highlighting does. It, like, instead of having floating objects, you just like put it into a space, give it context. You contextualize your figure or whatever you may be drawing. So, for this one, I'm gonna put the highlight right here and kind of going this way onto the figure, like that. So all of my shadow is going to be like from here, if that makes sense. So, I guess what I mean is like, okay, so the shadow is like, or the sun is like all the way out here, right? And we're just kind of drawing a line and like putting it right here. So it's actually kind of going more like this. But not really. I actually do that a little wrong. It's more like, yeah, more like that. So like pretty direct on, pretty average light. This will illuminate the face really, really well, so we can really see it. And the KaboClass thing is uploaded onto my Google Drive if you want to grab it. And you can get all of these fun layers. So, now that that is explained, I'm going to explain the basics of color theory and the basics of shading and highlighting, and then we'll get to the blending options and everything like that. So, if you want to just make a new layer and make the colors go away, then there you go. So, when I say shadow, a lot of people like take this base color and then they like go down like that. And it's like, oh yeah, this is my shadow. It looks so good. It looks so great. But really, it doesn't. This looks absolutely terrible, in my opinion. This looks really bad. Like, look at that. It just looks like poopy brown. That's gross. No, it doesn't give any kind of depth, any kind of context. Nothing. It's just like, oh, you're putting brown on your image. Okay. So, instead, what I want you to do is grab your color. This is for traditional artists. I want you to grab your color and I want you to bring it towards the blue side of the color wheel. So not directly onto the blue, but like a little bit more. So this is like orange, right? So maybe like a little bit of like a reddish pink, like that. And then you can go down into the darker color, so like that. So that when you go in, your shadow is more shadowy. It gives it more saturation, more depth, more context to your image. It makes it less brown and more red, right? Because in reality, my hair, KaboChama's hair, isn't brown. It's orange. So you want to keep it orange. You don't want it to look brown. So you want to keep it into this red kind of area, right? And the same goes with highlights. So say you're going to do a highlight, and you're like, okay, let me just make it lighter. That looks bad. That doesn't give it any context. That just looks like a pastel version of what we were just using. There's no depth. It's just very flat, very gross. We don't like it, no. So instead, we're going to take this color, and instead of going towards the blue, we're going to go towards the yellow. So probably like right there. And then you can go a little bit up, like that. Yeah. And look at that. So much better, right? So good, right? This is what I mean by contextualize, by put it onto a 3D space. You want it to look like it's actually there in that 3D space. You want it to pop out at you. You don't want to like muddy it, like make it brown, make it gross. No. This is your art. It should be pretty. It should be popping. It should be, you know, just like the best thing you could ever make it. So, you might as well put some color into it, you know? But that's kind of what color theory does, is it gives your base color context for the rest of your image. So, what color theory really gives you, like if I were to talk about color theory, I'm just gonna let you guys know. Well, maybe, no, I'll save that for later. Because color theory can get pretty confusing. But just know that if you want to highlight, you want to move towards the yellow. If you want a shadow, you want to move towards the blue. That's just kind of how it is. And you just gotta deal with it. That's just how it is. So, that is how you would shade in a traditional sense. Like if you were painting or using like markers or using like colored pencils or crayons or something like that, that's how you would do it. However, we are in a digital program right now, which means we have access to a bunch of digital tools that will help us make things a little easier and a little faster. Because like imagine like thinking about color theory for every single like aspect of this drawing, like every single like shadow and every single highlight. That would be exhausting. No. That's why we have digital platforms, so that we can make this process a lot faster. Once you understand the idea of it, you can make it faster. That's what digital does. So, I'm just gonna delete this. So we have our beautiful picture of KaboChama, and I'm I'm gonna go into the layers right here. So let's do the hair, because we've been doing the hair. So this is the hair right here. I'm gonna put a layer on top of it. So what I'm gonna do is use blending options to give the whole, actually, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm gonna put this right there on top of everything. All of these layers, put this on top. You can even put it underneath line art right there if you're confused about the you know, the folder. So put your layer right there. What this is going to do is it's going to give the entire image an equal shadow everywhere. Because like if you were doing traditional, like you would get this color and then you'd be like, okay, make more red and do this. Okay, bam. And then you'd be like, okay, well I gotta do this. So, but then, okay, what if I don't go equal amount? You know? Now this doesn't look like it's in context with this. It doesn't look like it's the same in the same picture, in the same image. But it is. So then you have to go like, oh, okay, well, maybe I went too far. And then, you know, you go back and then you're like, okay, oh, well that's not the same color. I don't know what's going on, you know? So it's just like a whole lot of confusion if you don't know what you're doing. So instead, we're gonna do blending options. Now for shadow, I like to put mine on multiply, like this. And usually when you do with color theory, you know how I say like shadows are more towards the blue and highlights are more towards the yellow? We're gonna use that same concept to do this type of shading. A lot of people shade with a multiply layer on black and then just change the opacity, but I'm going to show you why this isn't necessarily all that great. So I'm on multiply, it's on black. I'm just going to like do this. So see how, yes, it is in shadow and it's very nice. We're on 37% opacity right now. It does look like a shadow, which is great. However, let me show you. See how much better that looks? See, I just went into the purple and I just chose like a middle purple. I just did my shadow and it looks great, you know? So what I'm doing right here is I'm taking color theory into my brain and I'm like, okay, let's use color theory to give the shadow like depth and context. So I went closer into like the blue area to get my shadow. I don't like going all the way into the blue because to me it just it looks more black than anything else. I don't really like that. I like using a purple because it's close to the red, which is like a mid-tone, like a mid-range color. That's what you would use for like if yellow is your highlight and blue is your shadow, then red is going to be what's in between then. So I like to go for a purple, which is like right in between red and blue, and use that to do my shadow. And it looks much better, in my opinion, than the black. See how this one looks kind of like muddy and brown and gross, but this one looks like more like red and I don't know, better. I don't really know the correct word to use for this, but it looks more like it belongs in this picture than this does, you know? Like it looks like there's like a lighting effect going on here that's more interesting than over here, which is why I use this method. So sometimes I just use my purple. Okay, so this is another trick that I do is that I use my purple and I just go in and I block out all the shadows so that I can see exactly where I'm putting a shadow. Because sometimes if you're doing this on a purple background like this, it gets a little lost when you put it in multiply, you know? Just a little bit. Of course you would like do that, and then like it's even more lost now. Like I can barely tell where my shadow is. So I like to put it in normal and all the way up, just so that I can see what I'm doing. So we're gonna keep this. I'm actually gonna put it a little bit more purple, or like a little bit more to the red side. So I'm gonna call it shadow, and I'm actually gonna keep, oh my god, shadow. Okay, I'm actually gonna keep this layer now. We're gonna go in, I'm gonna tell you like why things are the way they are. So now that we kind of understand how to make a good shadow layer, I'm going to show you how shadows work with your light source. So we're going to do a pretty basic light source right now, which is, like I said, it's going to come down from like right here and kind of like be like right there. Does that make sense? So we're going to imagine the light is hitting here and the light is hitting here, but like behind here there's going to be a shadow because the light can't get right there. So we're going to cover this in shadow right here. So, and I'm going to use my eraser to like make these edges a little bit more crisp later. And it's probably not going to hit there either, or right there, or right here. So I'm just going to go in and make those shadows. Since it's coming from the top, it's probably not going to get under this little piece of hair right there, so I'm going to make a shadow. For this ear, it's probably not going to get in the center, so I'm going to make a center shadow. It's probably not going to get into right here or right here. It will get most of this, but it won't get like this edge or this edge. Sometimes the bottom right there. It's probably not going to get here either. Or right here and here. Absolutely, definitely not going to get all this back hair right there. So we're going to take that and put it into shadow. It's not going to hit here. This little piece right here. And it's only going to hit like maybe half of that piece. So I'm just going to kind of put this line here to remind myself that's what that's going. Okay. It's probably not gonna hit there, but it'll probably hit the rest of it. Oh, it probably won't hit right there. So that's pretty good for the hair. Maybe it won't hit like right here. Yeah, that's pretty good. So now when we're gonna like, you know, make it look nicer and like fix it all up and make it crisp and clean. But we always want to put like a place for, like, we want to rough out our general shadow. We don't want to go like, oh, shadow, okay, now let me make that perfect, because you never know what's going to change in your piece, because you might draw a shadow over here and you're like, I like that more actually, and then you just won't. You know, you would have spent so much time, then you have to erase that shadow, and then, you know, it's like a whole thing. Anyway, so I just want to show you guys what it looks like so far. So it would look like that, which is pretty good for like 2 seconds, right? I mean, that was pretty fast, right? But we're going to do a little bit more shadow. So now we're going to go to the face. Now the face is a little more difficult because we have this highlight going to the face, but the hair is catching a lot of the light. So we're going to shade where the hair kind of sort of is touching a little bit, like this. So it's coming in right here. I'm not going to shade this part right here because I want this to look like it's coming off the head. like we don't see what's underneath right here because the head is kind of tilted this way a little bit. But we do see this side because the head is tilted that way a little bit. So we will shade this part, but not this part because we want this one to look bigger. That makes sense. So the nose does go a little bit underneath, and this gets a little bit right here, like that. And this part gets a little bit because of the finger right there. Yeah. Nice. So now let's move on to the shirt. So because the light is coming right here, it's gonna catch onto most of this, but this whole section right here is going to be in shadow. So we're gonna keep that in shadow. And this part is also gonna be in shadow. So we can just like do that, you know. Hands are a little tricky, but that's okay. Just follow what I'm doing. You should be fine. So it's gonna, the light's gonna come hit right there. So this part is probably gonna be all in shadow, right there. Underneath the fingers, just a little bit, Okay. And now this is the really tricky part because not only do you have to think about, okay, so the light's coming in here, but there's also a head right here catching all of the light. So most of this is gonna be shadow, but this part of the arm is probably gonna be a highlight. So we could probably just like do this and then kind of make the rest of it in shadow like this. Make sure to get that little spot. Okay, and we should be pretty good for shadow. Let me show you. See? Usually I put it on like 50%. Look at that. So good! And now all of it is under the same value of shadow, which is very important for contextualizing your piece. Wow! Sometimes I like to do this. Just put it as a clipping layer. I explained clipping layers in the KaboClass before this one, when we did flat color. So if you're a little confused on that, then definitely go check out that tutorial. Yeah, so the rest of this really just needs to be cleaned up a little bit, which we can do really fast. Like this. Ooh. Just make sure all of your lines are crisp and neat. This is also a good point to create texture. You can create texture with this. You can also create, I mean, you are creating depth, but like, see how I just put that little extra little line right there? That'll make it look like it's hair. Like I don't have to sit there and like draw strands of hair, you know? So if you watched my hair tutorial, this is how I would do hair. You know, with like that little line. Oops, that is a jump scare, but I'm going fast, so I'm not gonna put jump scare on the jump scare counter. But yeah, see? Like, it's so easy, so fast. Wow. I'm gonna put a little extra right there. Actually, well, I'll explain why in KaboClass highlight and shadow 102 as to why that shadow went there. So if you're interested, definitely vote for KaboClass Highlight and Shadow 102. I'm just making all these lines more crisp, more defined. Yeah. Oh, we also want to put a shadow under the eye right there. Yeah. Like that. Okay. So that's good for shadow. Now we want to do another layer. This one's going to be a highlight layer. We're going to go up to this yellow and bring this into like the light yellow right there. We're not going to go all the way into white because watch. We're going to make this into overlay. I'll show you. Okay. See that? See how gross that is? Like it's definitely looking more yellow because it's like coming off of a an orange background, so of course it's gonna look a little yellow. But like right here, that doesn't look yellow. That's purple, you know? So we want to ever so slightly tint this to be yellow. This is why we put it like all the way up into the light side, but like a little bit more yellow. Like this all the way here is like super yellow, all the way here is super white, so we want to put it just a little bit. Like maybe a fourth of the way. We take our big pen, we want to put it on overlay. We're going to lower the opacity, but we want to know exactly where it is, like we always do. So, you know, the light is coming right here, but the way that hair works, the way that anime hair works, is you want to go like a ring around the hair, like this. Exactly like that. You could also do this, you could just go like straight at the top, just like this. And then use the highlight that we're about to do, like the texture highlight that we're about to do the ring. I'll show you that. Let's do it this way first. So just put your big highlight right there. It doesn't matter that the shadow is in it. You want to affect the shadow. And then another highlight would be right here. See how this is more yellow than the purple that we were just dealing with? It's important that it's there. And it's hitting the face too, so we can put like a little bit right here and a little bit right here. And this is a little too crisp of a line. Crisp lines work for shadows because shadows end in crisp lines, but for highlights we want to definitely blend them out. So I get my little blender tool. You can also go up here to filter, blur, go Gaussian blur, and then go all the way over to 100%. But I like to do this. It just gives me more control over it. But you know, you can do whatever you want. So we want it to be like a gradient like that. Exactly like this. I'm gonna make this a little, yeah. Yeah, like that. Exactly like that. And we're just gonna kind of do this. Blend it out, blend it out. And then maybe, yeah, let's go 50%. I like doing 50% on both. Depending on what color your background is, you want to adjust the opacity to fit that. Like whatever looks good to you is probably good. So then we want to come in with a smaller pen and go all the way to white. This works for hair, but don't really do this for anything else. Well, I mean, you can do it for like little like marks, but just use it for hair for now. So on the same layer, we want to do that ring around. Sometimes I like to draw like, just like, okay, that's where it's gonna be. And then go back here and just kind of draw. What I like to do is I like to go like big line, small, small, big line, small, small, like that. We're gonna do that all the way around. So, and follow the texture of the hair, the path of the hair. When you do this, it's very important. So, big, small, 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 big, small, big, small, 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 big, small, big. You want to do big where there's a solid line. So big, small, 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 big, small. You know, like that. Like, there's a line here, so we're gonna go big, and then the rest of it small. Big, small, 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 big, small, 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 big, small, small, big, small, big, small, 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 big, small, small, big, small, 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 big, small, 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 big. You know, like that. So, ta-da! Wow! So good! We can continue doing that. So another place where it would have light coming towards it. Oh my god. Is right here. So like the light would be coming down and it would be hitting this right here. It would also be hitting this little poof right there. And then also probably the top of this poof right here. So that's where we're gonna do our next little like big, small, small. So like this. And then like that. You want to go into the shadow because highlight always goes on top of shadow. And we can also do this just to like give it some texture because it looks a little boring down there. We could do it over here too. Yeah, maybe like right here. What do you think? It probably won't show up here, but we can try anyway. I mean, it kind of shows up a little bit. Okay, so that's that. I'm gonna clip it. Yeah, make those lines crisp. See how nice that looks? Now I'm gonna show you, okay? Look at it right now. Now look at it. See the difference? See how just like contextualizing it really makes it pop? Really gives it like a more of a 3D effect. This is why shading and highlighting is very important. And understanding where your light is coming from and what it is bouncing off of and what it is not bouncing off of is very important. So like I'll give you an example, like a very basic example, like the example everyone gives everyone all the time. So say we have a red ball. I'm doing it in red because it's just easier that way. So you have a red ball. And the red ball is on, well, the red ball is floating in space, right? So I am going to, we're going to pretend like the red ball has a highlight that's coming in the same direction that our figure has. So the light is coming in, it's like boo, 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 boo. So it's gonna hit all of this space right here. You know? It's gonna hit all of that. So when we do our highlight is gonna be right here. Right? Right there. However, because it is a round surface, we're trying to make it look more 3D, more cylindrical. Not really cylindrical, spherical, that's the word. Hi, hello! We're basically done with KaboClass, but I'm doing like a little tutorial on like what's like the concepts behind what I'm doing. So we have this red ball, and the light's coming in right there, and so this ball is a sphere, and because it's a sphere, it's round and it's smooth, right? So our highlight isn't just going to be a flat color like this. This would be what it would look like if it was like just a flat surface. But because it's round and we're trying to make it look like it's round, we're going to get our blendy tool. We're going to blend it like this. We're going to blend it all the way like that. Ta-da! Wow! I personally find this like a little boring, so I like to do like the actual thing first. So, this is exactly what we did for this part of the hair. We put our light on it and then we blended it out, remember? Oh, no worries at all. Hey, no worries at all. It definitely, you're not required to come to KaboClass, so no worries. I was just letting you know, giving you context for what I'm doing. So you have your highlight right here. I'm gonna put it in overlay so you can see. Well, you can barely see, but there is a gradient coming in right there. Maybe I should do this instead of having it be the overlay stuff. I'll just do color theory. So you want to do your highlight, like I said, and like move your color towards the yellow just a little bit, like that, and then move it up a little bit like that. This is gonna be your color. And we're gonna do the same exact thing that we just did. We're just gonna kind of do this, and then we're going to, I was on the wrong layer. It's okay. Here we go. Like this. And then we're going to blend it like that. Wow, see, it already looks like it's a sphere. Ta-da! And then, because the highlight is hitting it right there, that means the shadow is going to be literally the rest of right here. There's going to be a shadow right there. So, we are going to grab a color and we're going to bring it a little bit more towards the blue and a little darker, maybe like that. And we're gonna go boop like this, and because it's a sphere, again, we are going to blend. As a loyal devotee, required to show up. Only if you want to, only if you want to. So, ta-da! See how this looks? Like it's contextualized, like it is a ball, like a 3D ball on a 2D space. It's exactly what you want to do. We can even contextualize it more and bring this over here. Give this something to stand on. Like this. Of course. Ta-da, like that. So now it's standing on a surface, right? And so the highlight is coming in and it's hitting the ball right here and stopping the light. So the rest of this is shadow when it continues, which is why I brought this shadow out to right here, because the light is going, stopping right here, the rest is shadow. Right here is shadow. Now you can go and say like, okay, well the shadow is gonna be like this, and I'll go all the way over here, and so the rest of this is in shadow. You are correct. I don't want to make a line that long, so I'm gonna stop it right there. Okay, I'm lazy. Don't judge me, okay? Now I want to show you the same stuff, but without using color theory. Okay, so you have your red ball. I'm just gonna grab this color. So you have your red ball right here, and you have your highlight. It's coming in like right there, and then you have your shadow that is right here. I should probably like your highlights right there. So I'm gonna take this color, we're gonna move it just up here without doing the color theory, without moving it towards the yellow. Watch. Okay, I'm gonna grab the color again. We're gonna do our shadow. Okay, and then we're gonna make it black. This part is gonna be black right here. Okay, now then, which one looks more realistic? This one or that one? This one or that one? Which one looks more 3D? Is this one, right? Yeah. Because we used color theory, because we put all of our highlights, we turned them a little bit more yellow, and all of our lowlights, all of our shadows, we turned it a little bit more blue. That's how it works. So if you do that, you'll have more success in contextualizing your image and putting your figures into a faux 3D space that tricks your eye into believing that 2D is 3D. This is what all of those like cool painters do. But they do it with paint and not digital because they're cooler than I am. So yeah. And of course we can do like more like atmospheric effects and stuff. So that's why your art is so friggin' flat. Yes, exactly. If you do it this way, your art will be flat and muggy and like brown. But if you do it this way, you'll have more, I don't want to say like joy, because you could be like painting like something like really fucking terrible, and very depressing. But it'll be more believable that this is in a 3D space than this is. So that's why having the basics of color theory in your belt is a really, really good skill to have. I have also yet to find a good blending brush for Procreate too, though. Oof. I don't use Procreate, so I can't help you. But I know that the one that Clip Studio Paint has is like pretty basic. Here, I'll show you. Watch. Here's my black. And then a little blending tool. You just a little blendy. Just a little blendy guy. It just blends. There's like some brushes that like do like super blendy stuff. Like one side is hard and flat, and the other side is like a blendy. But I don't really know how to use those. So yeah. But you don't really need to use like a blendy tool to be able to successfully do this. I was just using it because I was doing a round surface, and that's like kind of the thing that like art school teaches you, you know? Yeah, the only decent one I found doesn't really blend. It's just a very transparent color to blend. Oh, yeah, no, that's gross. No, don't use that. There's like a smudge tool, you can do that too. But what I do with highlights and shadows is, it's mostly like crisp lines, you know? It's just I use the blendy with the highlight sometimes. But otherwise, it's pretty crisp. So definitely don't need to use a blendy to make it look like you have 3D shadows, you know? Oh no, this is how I learned to blend with the blur tool. Oh, got it. Makes sense. I understand. But yeah, so I hope that helps you guys. Is there any questions that you guys have that I can go over real fast before I end class? Or, if not, I hope this has been a useful tutorial for you guys. This will be uploaded to YouTube later, so if you missed it and you want to watch it, then yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. If you want to, of course. I don't want to force anyone to do anything. And this file is on my Google Drive, so if you're wanting to rewatch it and follow along, you can definitely do that. Yeah. I wasn't here for the most part, but it definitely helped me. Great, awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad that I could be of assistance. So I don't feel like this piece is done. So I'm going to, there's a few extra stuff that I personally would do to this. So I'm probably going to save this as like atmospheric effects 101 and use it for that. So let me grab all of this and delete them. I don't know what I use this for, but it's gonna be deleted. I'm gonna call this highlights. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Save. Okay. I'm gonna save as atmospheric effects 101. Yay! And once that finishes uploading or saving, I'm going to save it as a JPEG as well for those who want to use a JPEG. Where was I? Save. Okay. JPEG. Save. Yes. And before I forget, I'm going to upload it to the KaboClass thingy. Hold on. File upload. Where is it? Shading and highlights, hair, atmospheric effects. These two. Okay, they are currently uploading, so next time you won't have to wait for me to upload them when I start class. You can be more prepared than I will be, which will be nice. We'll be talking about like low lights and like reflective highlights that will reflect into your shadow. We'll talk about line color, and we'll talk about like different lighting effects that you can do after you finished your original image. That will be atmospheric effects. For spicy as well. We can, I'll do some stuff about spicy art and effects that you can do afterwards. So yeah, I am going to end class there. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. Even if you just watched along, then I hope that you're able to, you know, take something from whatever I said, even if it was like the stupidest thing ever. Like, oh, well, I like cats. Cool, KaboChama likes cats, you know. Gotta learn something every day. So yeah, so that's been Shading and Highlighting 101 for KaboClass. I'm going to upload, or not really upload, I'm going to put the new poll up probably like right after this stream. So if you want to vote for the next KaboClass, then yeah. And if you do follow along with KaboClass, definitely post your stuff with the hashtag KaboClass so I can see your work and retweet it or post it or whatever. And I can see if my if my tutorials are useful or not. Yeah. I feel like I was going to say something else. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. Anyway, tomorrow I'm gonna be playing Pokemon. We're gonna do a Nuzlocke, a Violet Nuzlocke, part 2. So hopefully Bubby doesn't die. But if you're interested in watching me do that, then yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. So yeah. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Bye bye. This is KaboChama signing off. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye 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 bye.